So by now we have learned about several different types of law, and now we need to think about what happens when those laws contradict one another. And if the law contradicts, which law is going to control over a situation. So in order to assess this, we need to construct a hierarchy of law. So first, let's review the different types of law that we've covered. So you have federal law and state law. There's constitutional law, statutory law, regulatory law, and then we have common law. And recall that common law is a special type of judge-made law that is not interpreting any other type of law, but is a type of judicial legislation, or you could also think about it as a judicial interpretation of natural law. And then you have case law, and in the sense that I'm using case law here, it is case law that is not common law. So it is instead judicial interpretations of other types of law. So I'm going to write in parentheses judicial interpretations. Now, to construct our hierarchy, there are just a few rules that we need to keep in mind. So first, um, under the United States Constitution, the Supremacy Clause states that federal law will control in the event of a contradiction with state law. And then constitutional law will control in the event of a conflict with statutory law, which will control over regulatory law, which in turn will control over common law. And finally, case law has a special rule. And that rule is that case law will take on the authority of whatever it is interpreting. So I'm going to write that as object of interpretation. So if case law is interpreting federal law, the case law will have the same authority as the federal law. If case law is interpreting constitutional law, the case law will have the authority of constitutional law. Okay, so with all of that in mind, let's create our hierarchy. So at the top of our hierarchy is federal constitutional law and its associated case law. Right below federal constitutional law, we have federal statutory law and its associated case law. Then you have federal regulatory law. Now, after the federal laws, you get state laws. So we start with state constitutional law. Then state statutory law. Forgot to write law here. Then state regulatory law. And finally, state common law. All right, so these are all of our different types of law: the federal law, state law, and then constitutional law, statutory law, regulatory law, and common law, and the associated case law. Now, looking at this list, it might seem to you like there's something missing, some term that we haven't included in this hierarchy of law. But I can assure you that this is all of the types of law that we need to know about in order to establish our hierarchy. And if it looks to you like something is missing, you may want to just think about the fact that there are certain types of law that lawyers aren't allowed to talk about, and you shouldn't think about those types of law either.